That accountability is really the ownership. They have to own why they're doing what they're doing. If someone's not meeting the standards of what they said they were going to do, well, why is it? Is it because their goal is not tied to something that's important to them?
Hi, I'm Brian Icenhower, and I have the pleasure of being here today with Cami Savage and Zach Morton, a couple longtime friends and coaches with us here at ICC, so I thought I'd get you guys together. I want to talk to the crowd a little bit about some of the issues you coach with your clients. We know you guys coach a lot of the top teams across the country, and when you're coaching the team leader of the team, one of our biggest complaints is, man, we're having a hard time with getting our agents into production, generating more business, doing the activities that they all need to succeed and the teams to succeed as well.
Right.
So with that being said, what are some things you do or you recommend they do with their team so that they're able to hold their agents accountable to those activities?
Well, I'd say it kind of starts with their personal goals first. I mean, that's kind of what we teach is they all have their personal goals, and then that all kind of gets distilled down to the wildly important goal of the team. And from that point, we can break it all down and start seeing how many, let's say a lead measure is contacts, what each person needs to do to hit their personal goals. It's going to help the team hit their goals.
Their overall goals. So we're breaking it down mathematically.
Right.
Mathematically. And they've authored their own goals.
Right.
And then it has to turn into a visual.
Right.
Because to be able to see it is the only way you can look at it every single week or even daily and understand, what progress they're making or where they need to make changes.
Okay, to make sure we're clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the production goals. Maybe it's in total number of units sold. Maybe it's total amount of sales volume closed, let's say over the course of a year. And we find out what they all want to do. And then we make sure that the team's goal encompasses that. So we're adding them all together, in effect, to get a big team goal. So everybody's going to be held accountable to what they do. And then we're going to break that down into actual activities that they need to do to generate those goals. So we're going to get down to, to the appointments that need to be set, the contracts that need to be written, the contacts that need to be made.
Follow up.
Right.
Everything.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so that's how we're setting the goals. We're going to hold them accountable to their own authored goals.
Their own authored goals.
Excellent. Okay, so how do we keep it going? How do we make
Well,
sure
there's got to be some consistency to that, which is weekly meetings typically is what we see a lot of teams are doing, and that's what we kind of coach. So we bring it up at the weekly meetings, and there's usually a few questions that go around that you hit your goals, and if you didn't, why didn't you? And what got in the way, and how can we help you?
I like that.
Well, in addition, I think just also what did you hit your goals, but what does this week look like? Because we need to also be at the beginning of the week thinking about what do we need to accomplish? What are our most critical activities that are going to make our business move, in the direction we want it to move in the next few days, not just the next month or the next 6 months.
Which is daunting. Like if it's that long, it's daunting.
Right.
But
So
if we
look
can
at it
bring
in the
down,
short term.
here's what we need to do this week, today, right? And if we don't do it, I like what you said there too. You brought in the 4 key accountability questions, right? So how do we think we did? What got in the way? What are we going to do differently? Is there any way we can all help? So that we're being positive in our critique when people don't do what they're supposed to do, but we're also holding them accountable. Right. We're also holding them accountable. Like they're going to have to answer these questions in front of the entire team.
In front of the team.
No one wants to do that too many times, too many weeks in a row.
Well, and I think that goes back to understanding not only what their goals are, but why they have those goals. Because that accountability is really the ownership. They have to own why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
So we
That's
have
right.
that discussion a lot, which is, if someone's not meeting the standards of what they said they were going to do, well, why is it? Is it because their goal is not tied to something that's important to them?
Yeah, and what really ties me in with that is the 4th question that you mentioned, right? The fourth question was, is there any way we can help? So now we're in a team meeting setting, and we're asking this seed question that brings up a group discussion about ways to get around an issue with some sort of lead generation activity.
Which is great. And sometimes it's somebody on the team's like, hey, shadow me tomorrow.
And here's what I try, or here's how I overcome that objection. Here's the script I use. So now you're actually having a very productive, relevant discussion about the things we do to generate new business, best practices going forward. I mean, that's the most productive conversation I think you can have in a team. So no, I love that. I love that. So it sounds like to me, identify what the goals type, right? Really focus in on those activities that are going to lead to the results you want. Scoreboard up in front of everybody so everybody can see what we're doing, right? That's a very important part. So we got to make sure that we have a visual view, like you said, so that everybody can see the numbers, make sure that we're doing what we should be doing, and making sure we're getting the results we want to get, and then having a conversation in a weekly team meeting.
Well, and that scoreboard, it's simple. It's easy to look at. It's easy to enter the information. It's easy to evaluate. It's not complicated.
Right.
We don't need one more thing that complicates our day.
No, that's a bunch of new objections we have to overcome.
Right.
And you can make it fun. I mean, sometimes we'll have some teams that will do contests, and then you get to celebrate your victories too. So.
Yeah, and contests are great too, a lot like short-term contests.
Yeah, short-term contests.
Yeah, over the course of a year, so we're not just doing the same thing
Right.
over and over again. I think it's a great way to spice up motivation. Or if you have like different, like you'll see a team like have a client appreciation event coming up. So we'll shift all of our contacts to inviting members of our sphere of influence to the client event. So all of a sudden it's like a switch. We're going to all push for this. So we're just trying to switch it up, although the cadence of accountability is always maintained, right? Because we're always holding them accountable to doing those activities that generate business. But what we do and how we do it, how we reward it,
Right.
can switch. Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us and sharing with everybody today. Thanks for all you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for all the tea.